The following programme may contain adult themes, strong language, and some nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
The Josh Widdicombe XFM podcast.
Live from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Hello. That was a polite clap, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Thank you for coming. On a late Sunday night, are we brimming with excitement? Yes, we fucking are, yeah. It's a delight to be here. This is, it's not just me. This is just me getting fucking hammered. Let's do this. This is, I did a radio show on XFM for 2.5 years, and just before last Edinburgh, we thought, oh, that'd be fun to do on stage. And so we got all the people that do the radio show in, and we thought we'll make that a late night show. And it's genuinely the most fun I've ever had doing a show at the Fringe. But I fucking hate stand-up, so that's... who here has heard the radio show? Good, because last night, 4 people had. And it got very awkward. But I found out also that my friend who was on the show, he was asked by one person who was here, who was the guy that hosted it. So I've got no idea what the fuck they were here for. The Josh Widdicombe XFM show. Don't know who that's going to be. What this is going to be, it's an hour and a half, you know, if you go for a piss break, we will fucking kill you. No, it's an hour and a half, and what we've got is 6 great comic guests, and all of them were regulars on the show, and they all did a little different feature on the show. So we're going to do those, one of those each night, one of those each from all of them, and also instead of texting to the show, you've filled in your forms on what were the two subjects, sir? You what, sorry? Celebrities in weird places and school play roles. And there we go. And the third one was, have you ever met the Ting Tings? And you might think, that's a bit of a curveball. But bizarrely, that is the topic that we got the most replies to of any in the 2.5-year history of the show. So we thought we'd throw it out tonight. We're all aware of how it's going to work, because last night people didn't know what the fuck was going on. Do you want to meet the comics? Yes, you do. I like you already. You're great. Okay, so we'll introduce them. We'll introduce them all at the same time. One by one, obviously. I won't do all... It's... No. So from left to right, politically... So give the final person the reception you feel they need. I didn't think Nigel Farage would be available. Please, we'll just keep applauding through all the names rather than applauding, you know, dependent on your views. So please welcome to the stage Mr. Nish Kumar, Mr. Matthew Crosby, Nathaniel Metcalfe, me, Ivo Graham, James Acaster, John Robbins, and we've also got a special guest tonight, Gimble. And for those that have listened to the radio show and are wondering what producer Neil looks like, you are about... I don't want to throw out the phrase wet dream willy-nilly. Mr. Producer Neil! And also, as the climax of the show, you might notice we've got an easel, because we have got Tom Neenan, brilliant comedian Tom Neenan, who... no, don't walk on yet. What was the cartooning award you almost won? There we go. He's not just a comedian at the Fringe, but he revealed he was the runner-up in Cartoonist of the Year 2007. We couldn't book the winner, but here is Tom Neenan, who is... come on, Tom Neenan! who is going to draw the show as it goes on. He's going to draw a cartoon of the show and then reveal it at the end. So welcome, guys. Fucking hell, this is tight, isn't it? It's almost like we haven't thought that overbooking might be an issue. So how are we all?
Very well, thank you, Josh.
Pretty great. Yep, doing well.
I'd like to... Whoa, that's louder than I thought. I would like to point out that with your political analogy at the start,
Yeah.
I'm actually stage left.
Okay.
So it turns out Nish...
Oh dear.
Nish
Nish
of
is
all
actually-
people.
Oh, what? So brown people can't be racist? Go fuck yourselves! We can be anything we want to be! Can I move?
I'll swap happily. It would make more sense.
We might as well, we might as well get on with discussing whether any of us have got anything on the topic.
Can I just say, I think the seating position very much shows who the overbooking was. I mean, I don't have any table. Like that's.
Better no table than an easel, as the saying goes.
Oh, there's a
That old
sketch
saying.
of brewing. Ivo.
Oh, I don't think Ivo's one of those, Tom.
Now, we've given...
It can't get worse than last night when he attempted to draw the Eton crest. Didn't do a great job. Got the motto wrong.
Oh, by the way...
Remind us what the motto was, Tom, of Eton?
I went to Eton.
You'll need this as you need this as prior reading to the show. Ivo went to Eton, and we've all got a chip on our shoulder about it.
Also, I am brown. Yeah, like I say, can I move?
Now, we've got two topics. Last night, we didn't give away the drawings, did we? I think at the end, the person that we think is the best audience member will get the cartoons of the evening's show, which isn't a very good prize. So what are the two topics, Ivo?
Seeing celebrities in unlikely places and most minor role you've had in a school play.
Okay.
Plus, have you met the Ting Tings?
Okay. Well,
I've got one for the first one.
okay. Seeing celebrities in unlikely places.
I queued behind Paul Weller in a service station sort of fish and chip. You know the little thing where they've got the lamps and you've got like sausages, chips, beans, and fish.
Yeah.
I queued behind Weller in the queue
mod
for
father.
those.
The Mod Father.
Yeah.
More like the Cod Father.
Nice.
I think you could ask 100 people to describe a buffet and no one else would mention the lamps. It's good to know that the food is lit. It's important.
It's not for light,
No.
Ivo. It's not for atmos. It's for keeping them hot.
How's that eating education working out for you?
Some of us didn't have all our food in boys' bum cheeks in front of the fire.
Yep.
We had to put our toast in front of a light bulb, mate.
Robin's really fighting the far-right tag there.
John, if you what did Paul Weller order is the question we're all thinking.
Well, you have absolutely hit the nail on the head there because he ordered fish and chips with mushy peas.
Classic.
And then went and sat out in his car because
He ate it in his car.
Well, you're not going to sit in the communal area if you're Weller.
I was hoping he was on a Vespa.
What? No, you're not allowed them on the motorway. So I would have called him up on that. You may well be the father of a generation of music I believe to be overrated. However, do not take a Vespa on the motorway. Or a bicycle. Or, as I saw recently, a pedestrian. Just walking on down the hard shoulder.
Is it Alan Partridge? It was actually Bruce Foxton, the bassist from The Jam.
Looking for his ride.
Weller, thought we were both getting fish and chips, mate. What happened? Ate it in your car and drove off.
Ellis James, who you do a radio show with on XFM, once sat next to James Dean Bradfield in a cafe. The lead singer of the Manic Street Preachers.
He also...
Well, let me finish.
Okay.
No, he also... Carry on.
No.
James Dean Bradfield, at a period, put on quite a bit of weight. You might wonder why. James Dean Bradfield ordered pasta and chips.
Ellis also, his ex-girlfriend used to be an indie music DJ, and she was DJing in a club in Cardiff with Johnny Marr, who's Ellis's hero, and she got on the phone and said, Ellis, Johnny Marr is here. He's in the DJ booth with me. You have to come. And Ellis decided no. He decided not to. This is one of his biggest regrets because, and I quote, all my good clothes were in the wash.
Does anyone else have any celebrities in weird
Yeah,
places?
I've got one that actually covers 3 of the people on this panel tonight. Because me, Ed, and Tom, in our first year in Edinburgh in 2006, saw Sean Connery on the Royal Mile. And we were at the time in a university sketch group, also known as the worst thing about Edinburgh Festival. And we said, Sean, would you like to see some student sketch comedy? And he just kept walking. We thought, fair enough, he's 007, he's a busy man. But he then turned to us and just said, sorry, boys, I've got to catch a plane. And it was fucking amazing.
I'll tell you, although it was amazing until Nish got far too excited and just went, da-da-da-da! And he was in earshot. It wasn't good.
Did the plane go past with a ladder hanging off it?
I was basically expecting the turret of Edinburgh Castle to open and for him to come out on the flying helicopter backpack.
Any more?
I queued behind Annie Lennox in a picture framing shop, and she got a Nelson Mandela quote framed. It was brilliant. She got it was
Sweet dreams are made of these.
Yeah. The silhouette of Nelson Mandela's head, like side profile, and then written in the silhouette was "Everything seems impossible until it's done." Annie Lennox needs to remind herself of that. And I was really excited and texted you and Nathaniel about it because I knew you two would appreciate it. And Nathaniel pointed out I should have said to her, "Be careful, don't drop that picture, otherwise you'll be walking on broken glass."
Gutted not to be on the Annie Lennox texting list, but never mind.
Sorry, man. I assumed you knew her.
Next time.
Wouldn't be as big a deal to you. You've received that. I didn't want to spoil for you what your Christmas present was going to be.
Imagine having a thing not already framed.
Any minor roles in school plays?
Any what? Sorry.
Minor roles in school plays.
So I just want to come back to, I know that Dave Benson Phillips is quite a big feature at this year's Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Someone came up to me earlier and said,
Are you him?
No, they came up to me and said, can I have my photo? And then they went, amazing. I've just had Dave Benson Phillips and now you. And I thought, I'm working on that level.
Yeah.
But the best one I've had of that ever was when someone came up to me to ask for a photo and then they said, what a day. I've only been in London for a few hours and I've had my photo with you and Ian Duncan Smith.
I mean, that is quite a day, to be honest. But when I was aged 4, I went to Chessington World of Adventures and met Dave Benson Phillips, but he was up some stilts, which was fucking incredible. And then also met him 10 years later at a party at the Museum of the Moving Image.
So isn't the phrase on stilts as opposed to up some stilts?
He really wasn't proficient enough to be on the stilts. He was definitely up there and he was panicking.
He'd been put on stilts against his will.
I'd love to meet Ian Duncan Smith.
A couple of years ago at the Edinburgh Festival, I saw one of the Proclaimers.
How did you know?
I don't know. I didn't even know it was possible.
He was walking 250 miles.
I saw the footballer Trevor Sinclair at Alton Towers. And he was there with his pregnant wife and 2 children, one in a pram, one who was about 4. So that would mean he's the only one that could have gone on any of the rides.
I used to volunteer at Slimbridge Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust.
End of anecdotes.
And on one day, 2 quite significant things happened. A very rare bird was spotted on one of the sort of bits of where the birds go.
Were you an expert at this place?
I dabble.
Yeah.
And Nigel from EastEnders turned up, unannounced. Do you remember Nigel from EastEnders?
Paul something. He's in Doctors now, or Holby City or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
Doctors.
Unannounced.
Yes.
Like there's other people on the bill. It was a secret guest.
Well, there were. There was the bird, which also had a bill, and loads of sort of super nerdy. Like the word went out. This was sort of pre-internet, so I'm guessing through Telegram about the bird.
By carrier pigeon.
Yes, but a very
Deserve
rare
more.
one.
He deserved way more, yeah, but.
And also fans of EastEnders. So it's sort of a meeting of minds, really, in a way.
I saw I served well I didn't serve but we had Jason
Pick the verb first, and then we'll have the name.
Jason Orange from Take That came into Waterstones when
You served him, as in, right, Jason Orange, let's take this outside. It's you or me.
Yeah. So let's move on to the features. Each person here has done a feature for the show, and we're going to go through them throughout the night, and each will basically will come to all of you, and we'll enjoy it. That was the worst intro I've ever given anyone. But to set the tone, Matthew Crosby used to do a feature on the show where you would read from a celebrity autobiography.
That's right. I like. My sort of favourite type of book is one that about halfway through has some slightly glossier pages with pictures of the person's mum. That's how I judge a good book.
Have you made them glossy?
Let's just say it's lucky they're wiped clean. I love a sepia photograph of a family on a beach. Really rocks my world, guys. Lucky this table has got a cloth over it. I'm fully erect right now.
Really? Do you want to take us through which celebrity autobiographies you've got in front of you?
I've got a few. Yesterday we did the Crankies fan Dabby Dozy, where we found out that Jeanette Cranky once had a ding-dong, which is her code for sexual congress, with a leopard tamer. So you missed out on a real treat. Yeah. But today...
It is available as a podcast.
It is, yes. The Crankies autobiography. But yes, today we're going to go for Britain's favourite comic, the autobiography of Jim Davidson, which is called The Full Monty. And you can see how popular he is from the reaction that got.
Just to be clear, the Monty has no relevance to him at all. What does it?
And just to be clear, before the film came out, so he's...
I think it was 93. What year did the film come out?
Later than that.
Yeah. I went on a first date and last with a girl to the Full Monty, and I was 15, so it would have been 1997.
Thank you very much.
And then we went
Bit of context there.
Went to a Pizza Hut, and I smoked a miniature cigar. I thought it would impress her. But it had the opposite effect.
Wow, what do you want in your pizza, sir?
Well, John, it's
This
interesting.
guy.
It's interesting you say that because that is more charming than any of the anecdotes in this book. By
You
a
mean
long
Jim
chalk.
Davidson doesn't have charming anecdotes about dealings with women?
No, they're genuinely upsetting. Although I was reading the back of this, and I think it might be more fun if when we read the back of it, which I'm going to read first, we replace it with Josh's name.
What?
I just think this. The Full Monty is Josh Widdicombe's own account of his turbulent life. From his first job as a labourer to his undisputed star status, face to face with his audience, the man behind the jester comes forward to tell of the hardship and happiness that have made him one of Britain's best-loved comedians. Often painted as the bad boy of comedy, Josh Widdicombe's antics have frequently earned him front-page headlines, but now Josh reveals the truth about his troubled past. The booze, the women, and the drugs that both helped and hindered him on the way to stardom. Josh Widdicombe's story is a rich tale of show business, as seen from the star's dressing room. It is a hilarious story. It's not hilarious, it's really upsetting. But at times, a very sad one. You should have opened with that, because it is very, very sad. Told with typical wit and honesty. Now 40, Josh has lived life on the edge for 20 years, and the excitement and experience of those years make the Full Monty gripping and painfully funny reading. The only true word there is painful. I'm going to give you an option. Now, one of these stories is really upsetting, and the other one is a little bit of fun. but the one that's really upsetting has someone who's called Nish in it. So you can either have an incident at the Panto or a night out with Nish. Cheer now if you'd like an incident at the Panto.
This is exciting.
I mean, I could have seen that one coming. It's just one of the things Nish says in this story.
I mean, it could actually be this Nish, because we've already established they've got similar political agendas, you and Davidson, so...
Me and Jim Davidson. Peas in a very weird pod.
Oh, no. OK, here we go.
OK, I can just see the word brownie here, so I am...
So
I'll be
we're all
honest with you.
hoping night out at a bakery.
Yeah. Bakery.
I mean, no, to be fair, he actually did do a gig in front of 400 brownies, so that was...
Yep, all called Nish.
No, the actual, you know, like the sort of lady cubs.
Okay.
As I've been told many times never to call them, and also to stop showing up to the meetings.
So who is... Because Nish is not a particularly common name. Is there any context for who Nish is? Feels like I'm having a nervous breakdown. Can somebody explain who Nish is?
He's doing a tour with the RAF, and they're filming it for the BBC, which he had to arrange with Thatcher because it was around the time of the Falklands. And Nish was the freefall expert,
right?
Who he nicknamed Big Nose.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Shut up, Big Nose.
Now, guys, bear in mind...
I'll be honest with you. If that's the worst thing Jim Davidson calls Nish in this anecdote, I'll be fucking delighted.
Also, if that's the only thing Neil says in this entire podcast.
Yeah.
OK, get ready to be really upset, folks. After the show...
Is that how you start your Edinburgh show?
Yeah.
After the show, this is from the chapter Mrs. Davison number 3.
Oh, God.
God.
And that is not that far into the book.
No.
That's not that far into the number of his wives.
Yeah. After the show, I had a few drinks. Then Nish took me to a seedy bar in downtown Berlin.
Classic Nish.
It was a grubby, smoke-filled club, and on stage, a naked guy sat in a bath with a bird bouncing up and down on him. You would have liked that, John. You worked in one of those sanctuaries. Nish and I sat at the bar and had a drink. Suddenly, 2 really beautiful Oriental darlings walked in. One had long blonde...
Oriental darlings!
Yeah, I wouldn't repeat it. One had long blonde hair, the other short, dark hair. The blonde was the best looking, and I thought, being the star, I'd end up with her. Nope. She walked up to Big Nose and started cuddling him.
Oh, go on, Big Nose. Get that Big Nose right in there.
Oh, no, please, Nish, don't make it worse than it already is. I sat and had a few drinks with the other girl who, in an oriental way, reminded me of Val from the Old Kent Road. That was his old girlfriend. A little later, Nish disappeared with his pickup, and I staggered off drunkenly with mine for a tinker about. And not to put too fine a point on it, got a blowjob.
That is the definition of a fine point.
Yeah. It's actually cleverer than you think. Jim Davidson has a famously thin penis.
They call him the compass.
I loved as soon as you said he's got a famously thin penis, all I saw was Tom go.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, I took her back to the bar and bought her another drink as I waited for Nish. He turned up all smiles with his blonde, who said goodbye and left. Nish sat next to me and ordered a drink. There's something funny about this girl, I said to him. There's something wrong with her. What do you mean, Nish asked.
No.
Very good impression of me.
Thank you. I don't know, I said. She wouldn't let me do anything to her. She just wanted to give me a blowjob.
Oh, God, I know.
That did me, but it was all a bit odd.
Josh is having flashbacks.
To another night out with Nish.
I can't believe I gave Jim Davidson a blowjob.
I can't believe you posed him as Oriental woman. That was the worst thing about it.
He thought for a moment. Here, she could be a Kitai. A what? A Kitai, he replied. It's a word in Singapore for a bloke who's had the operation, had the dick off, and a fanny made.
Sorry, is he putting fine points on it still, or is that what he actually said?
I looked at him, unsure of what to say for a second. The hardest...
Oh, come on!
No, this is... He makes a very poor taste joke. He says, "The hardest bit of the operation must be sewing in the anchovies." I replied eventually.
Eventually.
Britain's one of Britain's best-loved entertainers.
Eventually, as if he's thought, I really need to know.
There's something in this, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon half an hour with my writers, and then I returned by saying, sewing in the anchovies. So grim.
So he said, yes, Nish replies, "I'm the king of Kittais. I've had 7 of them." "What do you mean?" I asked. "They haven't got dicks, have they?" "Oh, no," he said. "They've had the proper sex change." "Well, how can you tell if she's a Kittai?" I asked, intrigued. "They're the better-looking ones. They don't go all horrible. They keep their looks and their figures."
Oh, my God.
"How else can you tell?" I persisted. "By their feet," he said. "She can't change the size of her plates. Take a look at her feet." I dropped something on the floor to inspect the girl's feet closely.
Just look down, Jim. What the fuck are you playing at?
Absolute
What do you
master of
reckon?
espionage.
What do you reckon he dropped on the floor? I hope it was a snooker ball.
I dropped it on the... Yes, but I couldn't see a thing. "No good," I slurred to Nish, getting back on my stool. "It's too dark down there." "All right. Well, you can also tell if she's got an Adam's apple. If there's an apple, it's a bloke." The poor girl must have thought I was a strangler, because then I started putting my arm around her neck, feeling for an Adam's apple.
Oh, my God.
Still no joy. "I still can't tell," I told him. Then Nish had a brainwave. "Look," he said loudly, pointing up to the ceiling. The girl looked up there, and there it was, as clear as day, her Adam's apple. Nish asked her directly in her native tongue if she was a Kittai. She got really angry, slammed her drink down on the bar, and stormed off, insisting unconvincingly, "Me no lady, man." So, where did the... Yes, it's got so tense in here, and I really...
I am really enjoying this.
I'm enjoying it very much. So where did the accusing finger point? The best thing about sex with a man, which you never expect to read in Jim Davidson's autobiography.
I like that Nish has brought out his tolerant side.
The best thing about sex with a man is that afterwards you can roll over and talk about football.
Oh, my God!
Wow.
Seriously, though, do you know I've not had a card, nor a letter, nor a phone call. My favourite bit about this is he puts the apostrophe before phone because it is an abbreviation. A real stickler for punctuation there. I've not had a card, nor a letter, nor a phone call from my Kittai since that night. Me and blokes are through. The next morning I woke up with a hell of a hangover and vowed... This is a wonderful... You can take this away with you. Vowed that if I was going to go with anything out there, I'd have to fuck it to be sure it was female.
Oh, my God.
Now, you had a choice, guys. There was a very funny story where he was in Jack and the Beanstalk and he shit himself up a ladder. But you picked that story on your own head, Spear. This has been Jim Davidson's The Full Monty.
Matthew Crosby, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's go through some of your correspondence. Ivo Graham, what have you got for us?
Okay, some fun with people seeing celebrities in unlikely places. A cutting one to start. Josh Widdicombe on Mock the Week.
I'm glad you got mine.
Absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe you got to fill in a card.
Yeah.
No, I'd expect you to be on it. Just not as many episodes of series as you are. I think 2 max. So, and then just that guy who has won Mock the Week once in a bar. Just doesn't even
Who's that?
specified.
I mean, that's not an anecdote, is it?
Nope, all right, sorry.
That's fine.
Unless they can, if a person can describe them, I bet we could figure out who it was.
But in a bar...
Well, what man has been on Mock the Week once? Ed?
Yeah, I've been on it once, John. Yeah.
Who's the person?
Daniel M.
Daniel M.
And was it Ed?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't believe your luck. Twice in a day?
It's unbelievable. 2 places you didn't expect to see me: a bar and a room.
I like the idea that Daniel's about to go, "Someone give me that card back, I've got another one."
Seen that comedian twice at a comedy festival.
Could I just say, Ivo, when he was going through them beforehand, there's some absolutely brilliant ones here. So far, you've had that bloke from Mock the Week in a bar.
I just thought we'd start personal and then move outwards to Oscar Pistorius.
Oh, God.
Which we've got 2 of.
So anyway...
Some Oscar
2 Pistorius. And
Shall I read some more from Jim Davidson's autobiography, just to sort of...
Let's find out what Nish got up to next.
Just to break the tension.
Right, so...
Queue for the toilet? Oh, sorry.
Is that where is the Oscar Pistorius? Yeah. We wouldn't wait in the queue, would he? Everyone in front of him's in trouble.
So give us who's the person?
Well, the first one said Oscar Pistorius is never mind, and the second one has said has specified pre-shooting, which is very good. The best parenthesis of all time. And then they've written 2012 and underlined it twice, just to really make clear. I know when the shooting happened, and this was before then in time.
So he'd been in this presumably was in London for the Olympics, was it? What was the?
It was at Dunhill St Andrews. Hang on, the other person's done. Oh, they're right. They've got the same surname. It's all coming together.
Wait, hold on. Who were the two people that wrote the same anecdote? And why were you not queuing to get there? They're right down the front.
Have we got a mic for
They've
these
also...
people?
Oh, no, they haven't. I thought they'd been...
Yeah, Finley and Harry Smith, yeah.
So let's go.
Who gets the anecdote at dinner parties?
One of you can tell that one, and the other one can tell about not meeting the Ting-Tings.
So what have we got? What's on the card, Ivo?
Oscar Pistorius' autograph at Dunhill Championship, St Andrews, 2012. And then Harry's the one who specified pre-shooting.
How was he? He was fine. He's not a really sound bloke.
No, but that's fair enough. At the time, he was a really sound bloke. It doesn't mean that... I mean, he showed no signs of going a bit...
Yeah.
Well, you know.
I like that only one of you were in pre-shooting, which makes me think one of you met him and the other one met him and shot him.
So he was a really sound bloke. Ed, do you want to...
Yeah, I mean, I've come over here with the mic. You better have some pretty awesome anecdotes coming out right now.
Hey, hold on. Is that guy from Mock the Week?
Yeah, please fucking leave me alone. I've had enough of that today, thank you. Just trying to stand in a bar now and again.
Sees we'd like to see, mate. Sees we'd...
Unlikely things... Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. So what was he like?
Yeah, it was just... well, he mucked up his first shot.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, okay, right. Well, we all know it took a few goes.
And they did 16 more of them, was it?
I mean, yeah,
He played
agreed.
4 shots towards the same area.
He mucked up his first shot. He was in the rough. And
He was in the rough, yes.
Well, if he wasn't then, he certainly fucking is now.
Did he use his blades to kind of get the grass down?
Scythe.
Scythe the grass away?
Well done,
He's
Josh.
not
You
a
found a new way
lawnmower.
to make this conversation awkward.
I think Oscar Pistorius is an okay target for like having a go at.
Please don't use the word target.
I think we're really seeing the men behind the jesters tonight.
So what happened, Cameron?
Can I come back yet, or are we still...
Well, let's just see
Because
how
I'll be honest, you've not given me any table, and now I have to act as some sort of roving reporter.
Pretty cool.
You basically turned Ed into a mic stand.
no, and he just came up to do this second shot out the rough, and that was it. He was catching everybody as just going along.
Got a photograph of 2 old ladies as well.
He got a photograph
of his 2 old women as well, and he got signed autographs and everything.
So have you got your photo with Oscar Pistorius?
It's on my other phone now.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's your Facebook profile.
Look, on the plus side, I have turned it into a rainbow because of gay marriage, so...
And I will be getting it framed.
Any more, Ivo?
Yes. How about Newton Faulkner in a service station eating a wicked zinger?
yeah.
Just read that out again, Ivo, sorry.
Newton Faulkner in a service station eating a wicked zinger.
This sounds like the best game of Cluedo ever.
Who's that from, Ivo?
Cameron Duff.
Cameron Duff?
Duffy.
Who's Newton Faulkner?
He did a
Dreadlocked folk singer.
Dreadlocked folk singer.
He's a white guy with dreadlocks, Robbo. Need we say more?
He did a cover of Teardrop by Massive Attack.
And he's a motorway fried chicken connoisseur.
I lived on the same street as Mushroom from Massive Attack.
Oh, wait, there he's up there.
So what's the story behind the... is there any more to the Newton Faulkner anecdote?
Not really, no.
He was even too Scottish for me, mate.
Far
Not
be it from
really.
me to sort of workship the contributions, but I think at future live podcasts, I would hold back the wicked zinger for when we ask. Don't put it all on the cards. Keep the zinger up your sleeve.
Any on the other topic, Ivo?
Most minor role you've had in a school play. It's just a fun specification from the same guy who said you on Mock the Week. Random African child sitting on stage saying nothing. Brackets, I have no African heritage at all.
Oh, Daniel M.
What's the person's name?
Alex Tagg.
Alex Tagg?
Alex Tagg.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is. Yeah, I mean, for the benefit of the people listening to this on the podcast, that is one of the whitest people I've ever seen in my life.
This is also the person that Underseen Celebrities and Unlikely Places wrote Josh Widdicombe on Mock the Week, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Get ready, mate.
I'm sorry.
Well, so what was your role in the school play?
Well, we all just...
What was the school play, sorry?
Well, when I was in year 3, so I was 7 years old, all the year 5s had their big school play, and then because we were year 3 and we had no talent, we would just sort of like sit on the stage while they were doing their play and just sort of like...
And impersonate Africans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In very poor taste.
Yeah.
Worst nativity ever.
Yeah. The play was 12 Years a Slave. Very advanced class.
Year 12 a slave, I imagine.
Yeah. I thought that was very funny, Josh.
Yeah,
Very
I
nice,
thought that
Josh.
deserved more. So what's the sorry? What was the
What was the play?
What was the play?
It was just some random nativity play.
Nativity?
It wasn't a nativity.
Yeah.
A random nativity play. I mean
Yeah.
there's only one, isn't there?
Well,
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a random nativity play.
No, there's no other nativity, mate. I mean, what do you mean?
So how did you know you were playing? Why were you playing Africa?
Did you just turn up to school blacked up?
We'll have to work this into the play. Everyone should have a complaint.
Oh, and then lo, doth a group of African children hath appeared in
Random.
the manger. And Joseph hath said, oh, that's a bit offensive.
But actually, they would have all have been black in the original nativity.
They would have.
Actually, Nish.
Racist?
Yeah, actually, mate.
Yeah,
They
nice
would-
one,
you,
mate.
You got a problem with that? You got a problem with the brown Jesus?
Huh?
Suddenly it knocks you down the pecking order?
Well, he hasn't got a... Brown Jesus was my wrestling name. Of course I don't have a problem with it.
Now, another feature, Nathaniel Metcalfe, each week when you replaced Nish.
I did replace
You
Nish.
did replace Nish.
I was
you're
off to
a
Berlin with Jim Davidson. I am actually going on holiday to Berlin in the first week of September, so that Davidson anecdote has really made me feel quite ill.
Nathaniel, you're a comedian and you're a TV historian.
Of sorts. I don't know if people will allow me to be called a TV historian. I don't know if this counts by going through old Radio Timeses and saying what was on a week that was in the 90s. Does that count as...
Yeah, and it appealed to me greatly because all I want to do is talk about the 90s, so...
Well, you were in luck.
So each week you'd bring us what was on that week from the 90s.
Yes.
And we will discuss whether we remember. What was the TV show?
Well, this week I'm doing June 1996, and you could watch...
the week of Euro 96.
It was very much. It was England was still involved. It was 17th of June.
Yeah.
And you could have watched on Friday, the 21st of June, 999 with Michael Burke.
I fucking love 999.
Dramatic reconstructions of the emergency services, but refilmed, like not at the time. Not at the time. They did it with actors and things. This one is a reconstruction of a policeman who was impaled on some railings, threatening to delay the trooping of the colour ceremony. For the first time in its history. I like that they haven't really got the priorities right on that, have they? There's a policeman impaled on some railings, and they're saying, I hope we get him off before the guys with the hats turn up.
I also find, does Radio Times have no respect for the phrase spoiler alert warning?
Did anyone... Did you used to watch 999?
No, I didn't. But, you know, I chat to my mates about it constantly.
You pretended that you watched it?
No, I didn't pretend. I pretended I watched Harry Enfield. That was the one I pretended.
Did you?
Yeah, all the kids in my class watched it. It was really cool. So I would... what I'd do is that I'd stay quiet for the first conversation about it, and then I'd remember the details, and then next time other kids were talking about it, I would just relay those as if I'd seen it.
Wow.
Right.
That's pretty much how I approach these podcasts. So anyway, I met Sean Connery.
So you'd sort of be like, that brilliant bit where he goes, "I've got a lot of money." I'd be like, "Yeah, you've not seen it, have you?"
Yeah, that's how it went. And then eventually my dad let me watch it, but he would video it first and then watch it with me and fast forward through any naughty bits, which were the only bits the kids were talking about the next day.
Or what else was on that week? Nathaniel?
Also, that same week, you could have watched To Me To You, the Chuckle Brothers Desert Island-based game show. Yeah.
Set on Chuckle Island.
Set on Chuckle Island, you would win coconuts, and the person with the most coconuts would win. Makes sense. It was very much the BBC's answer to children's ITV's Jungle Run. As we found out during one of these, that the set of Jungle Run was also the same set that they filmed Keith Chegwin's Naked Jungle on.
Oh.
And I can't imagine there's enough Dettol in the world, is it, to get those kids back on that set?
The Chuckle Brothers To Me To You was the game show spin-off of the Chuckle Brothers.
Yep.
It didn't really work, did it? There was a cart that went left to right and right.
Yeah. It's like a big board game on a desert island. And you'd have sort of celebrity guests on it, including Dave Benson Phillips, already mentioned.
Surely he saw the Chuckles as a big rival, wouldn't he?
No, it was a happy family at the BBC. It was a happy family.
Well, that was one of the problems in the 70s.
Were the Mr. No Slacking, and do you remember them from Chuckle? Were they involved?
They were other Chuckle brothers.
They were half brothers, correct?
Yeah, they were half brothers of the Chuckle brothers, Chuckle half brothers.
They were chus.
Chus.
That was solid. Fuck you guys.
Hey, it's that guy from Mock the Week.
One of the special guests was Richard McCourt, who was better known as Dick of Dick and Dom. But weirdly, not Dom. I don't know what he'd done.
So they just got Dick without the Dom?
Yeah. It's like we're back to the Crankies again, aren't we?
Either that or we're back to Jim Davidson in Berlin.
All Dick, no Dom.
Did anyone see what the Chuckle Brothers did last year?
Is that like, we know what you did last summer.
They posted a selfie of themselves having a great day. But it was just after they'd given evidence in Dave Lee Travis's sex trial.
That's right.
And they posted a selfie of themselves, and you could see the Crown Court in the background, and they tweeted the phrase, "Just given evidence in Dave Lee Travis's sex trial," and they were both smiling.
Can I just say, I don't think it was called Dave Lee Travis's Sex Trials. Because that just sounds like the most awesome TV show of all time.
Or another chapter in Jim Davidson's book.
Oh yeah, Judge Judy for the Nuts generation.
Also, you don't have to say they posted a selfie of themselves. Just within the phrase.
Right, let's go back to the audience interaction. Thank you very much, Nathaniel Metcalfe. Ivo Graham, what have you got for us?
Oh no. Sorry, I went back to prepping my feature. Which
Ivo, all I can see is just cards and panic.
Yeah, I've forgotten what all the different piles mean. There was funny, very funny, relevant to the panellists, and just bad, but I've forgotten which is which.
Well, read one out and we'll work out which pile it is.
Is this how you planned your Edinburgh show?
Yeah. No, but it's going fine.
Hit us up, Ivo. Just get out the panic. Read one out.
Knocked Gordon Brown flying in a Fife McDonald's, spilling Coke on his suit.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Coke with a capital C.
That's from a Mr. J. Prescott.
What's the name?
Kerry, with an I.
She's written with an I, even though she's written Kerry
that's
with an I.
No, she's only got one eye.
Yeah, which...
There's a Cyclops in. Where is she, Kerry?
Also,
It's going to be really awkward now.
Sorry, that was us racing to a very funny punchline.
I'm ruining it for everyone. Where's Kerry with an eye?
Races.
Kerry?
So, Kerry, what's the story?
Sorry, mate.
I was in McDonald's in Dunfermline, and I wasn't paying attention, and Gordon Brown was there in his suit, posing for a photo, and ended up with Coke all down him.
What type of Coke are we talking here? Because that instantly becomes an immediately more interesting story.
Unfortunately, just Diet Coke, the drink.
I mean, I was sort of making a cocaine reference. I didn't mean literally.
Nish wanted it to be full fat. Much more difficult staying to get out, isn't it? So how did he react?
He just sort of walked off.
What year was this?
Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago.
So when he was
Was he
campaigning
Prime
for the
Minister?
election,
No.
as if he was sort of going, yeah, of course, this makes complete sense.
Of course, Gordon Brown famously has one eye, so as he was walking out, if he heard you going, "My name is Kerry," with an eye, been kicking the nuts after all the coke.
Any more, Ivo?
Yep.
Which pile's this one from?
I don't know anymore. It's a very difficult job. in a way.
You're just moving them.
Yeah, no,
Olympus has fallen.
Dan. I don't know what that means.
It's a name of an action film.
Oh, I thought Mount Olympus from the Greek mythology. Most of which I've read.
But
In the original.
Have you read them? Have you read any of these cards?
We should have written them in
Greek
Latin.
mythology on
It would
his
be a lot
phone.
faster if the audience would write their answers in ancient Greek on the way in. But your audience refuses to kowtow. Daniel Craig in Greg's, brackets, sausage and bean melt.
That's a great
Yeah.
Greg's order.
It is.
Absolutely textbook stuff from 007.
What if we can get all the buns by the end of the show?
Has anyone... Dalton's the one, isn't it?
Anyone seen Dalton?
I would have thought if anyone's seen Lazenby, that would be more of a get.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyone? Roger Moore?
No. With
Halloran's
Pierce Brosnan.
from the radio.
I mean, we've already
David
realised
Niven.
we've failed to get all the bonds.
Okay.
Let's not carry on. Any more, Ivo?
Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen asked me for a light when I was a 13-year-old schoolboy.
Name?
Matt.
Matt?
Matt, where are you? Here he is. Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen asked me for a light. Sounds like a tongue twister.
Well, he's into interior design, isn't he? So
You want lights, mate? Go to that buffet over there. They've got loads of it.
Matt?
Hello.
Where were you?
Walking back from school for lunch.
So were you uniformed up?
Yep.
Were you actually smoking, or did he just take a chance?
I just took a chance.
That is Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen.
I feel like we're hearing evidence in a trial, and I don't really like it.
No, that's Llewellyn
Selfie
Bowen.
time?
I think that's him casting the Scots in a very negative light. He looks 13. He looks Scottish. He's probably got one.
I think the Chuckle Brothers are going to have to take a selfie outside this gig.
A selfie of themselves.
What was he wearing? Because he's always dressed in a sort of flamboyant fashion. What was he wearing?
Just a thong.
So
Are you
Matt,
sure this wasn't a fever dream of yours? Because it...
It's quite possible.
Matt, where is he from? Where were you walking back from school from?
It was Cults in Aberdeen.
So what was he doing? Was this at the
He was
high
doing
point?
a changing rooms thing.
He was doing changing rooms. So he was on a break in filming from changing rooms.
Yep. Saw schoolboys walking by.
And did you have a light?
Yes.
Ivo, no.
I would argue that Kim Higgins here has... I mean, they're all great anecdotes, but it's humble brag after humble brag.
Can we find Kim Higgins first?
Oh, yeah. Hand straight up.
Lamar on Oxford Street, circa 1985. We don't put years, so
Mark
right pre or
or the
post shooting.
rapper?
Lamal.
Lamal from Kajagoogoo.
Yeah. Oh, right, sorry.
Because I was going to say circa 1985. I think Lamar would have been about 6.
We're watching Fame Academy.
Yeah.
I recognise that guy. I think I walked past him on Oxford Street 20 years ago.
That talented toddler I saw. Singing like an angel.
As I say, I'll read it correctly if it's in Greek. So,
He was singing in the street, and I said, you know what? If there's any justice in this world, you will be a huge celebrity. I can't believe that's the first thing to get that sort of groan.
P. Diddy at Terminal 5, brackets, with entourage. And then Martin Sheen at LHR. We just disembarked a plane from LA.
Disembarked?
Disembarked.
What's the name, sorry?
Kim Higgins.
Kim.
Sounds like quite a showbiz name.
Yeah.
What's your favourite one out of them, Kim?
What, airport?
I haven't really got a favourite, but I was I just thought I'd list all three of them.
What year did you
speak
see?
to any of them?
So definitely 1985. I remember I was about 14 or 15, and I had a German pen friend, and we were in London. We were taking her to Oxford Street and bumped into Lamar.
Can you remember what I was born in 1985, so I'm quite excited that maybe as I was being born, you were meeting Lamar.
Yeah. I mean, if it was in August, that goes for me as well. What month was it?
Well, it would have been in the summer months.
Ooh!
So, you know, July, August time.
If it was August, it could have been when Nish was introduced to the world.
Yeah, making my way out, heading off to Berlin with Jim Davidson.
Did you speak to any of these people?
To Lamar, I think we just said hello. We just kind of, he kind of walked past and we tapped him on his shoulder and just
You weren't too shy.
What year did you meet Puff Daddy? Because that's hugely
solid.
It's very it was good. I liked it.
You didn't tell you a never-ending story. I get the feeling no one knows who the fuck Lamar is.
I'll be honest, I'm in the dark.
Yeah. I knew someone called Lamar at school. He was meant to be the
I don't think it's him.
He was meant to be the singer in my band at the time. And in band practice, he would sing really beautifully, and it was really nice. And then we did our first ever gig, and he was late to the stage. We didn't know where he was. And then he jumped on stage and just started screaming into the mic really horribly.
I take it back, it probably was him.
Yeah. And afterwards we said, could you not do that again, please? He went, absolutely. And then we had some band practices, and he sang beautifully in all of them. And we did another gig, and we went, you're not going to do what you did last time, are you? And he went, no. And then he did it again. And then we had a third gig, and all the band practice was really nice. And the third gig went, Lamar, please, don't scream. Don't do that. Just do what we practiced in the band practices. He was like, guys, I'm really sorry about those first two gigs. It was stupid. I just got nervous and I screamed. It's not going to happen again. But thanks, mate. And then he did it again. And then afterwards, someone nutted him.
Right, now another...
Alex from Sunderland saw Fireman Sam in Mothercare.
Wait. Whoa. No, you didn't.
You did.
Wait, hang on, mate.
You didn't, mate.
You saw a fireman in Mothercare. That's what happened.
Wait, hang on.
Fireman Sam.
He's laughing like there's more to this anecdote.
To be fair to him, he has put an exclamation mark after from Sunderland, so he does like a laugh.
As Mothercare burnt to the ground, all you could do was call someone Fireman Sam.
Okay, here we go.
Alex?
Hit us.
There is actually more to the story.
I fucking hope there is, mate.
Here comes the chicken zinger burger.
She can explain.
Who have you?
No.
Oh, his mum's here. Here we go. Mum, fire away.
Yeah, he was only 2.
What, Fireman Sam?
In a creche with Lamar.
Yeah. And he absolutely loves Fireman Sam, and he was on at Mothercare, and he got all dressed up as Fireman Sam and went along.
What the fuck just happened?
And had his photograph taken with Fireman Sam, and he just loved it.
I mean, tonally, this couldn't be more different than the Jim Davidson story.
It's nice to have a little bit of light and shade, isn't it?
Has Alan Bennett written this anecdote? This is...
That's the sweetest one.
Yeah. It was a lovely story. I liked
That is the nicest story we've ever had on
Why
this
is that
show.
one making me laugh the most? The funniest. He just loved it.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely delightful story, but not what the question asked, so it must be struck from the record.
Now, John Robbins, you have your own XFM show.
I do, thank you. I do have my own XFM show
And
with
you
an
have
assistant.
And you have a feature on it, Robbins Amongst the Pigeons.
Oh, that's what we needed last night. No, okay. We did a thing where I read out from Tony Blackburn's autobiography, and because Ellis refuses to come up with any content of his own, I then wrote my own autobiography in the style of a sort of self-aggrandizing celeb autobiography.
Can I just say, it's not in the style of Jim Davidson, is it?
Nish and I walked into a bar in Berlin.
How many do I get to do here? Because it affects which ones I read.
A chapter? Can we do a chapter?
Okay, fair enough. It's strong stuff, mate. Okay, well, I will do the house that Joke built. So this is the first chapter where I deal with my sort of starting with comedy and moving in to a flat with comedians.
The titles of the chapters are really funny.
Thanks, mate.
Fireman Sam in Mothercare.
I loved it.
Okay, here we go.
You just really loved it.
Just fucking loved it. Not everything has to be mean. There can be hope in the world that people love Fireman Sam and no one gets their dick out.
Hose.
Nice. So, chapter 18, The House That Joke Built. This is part 1 of 3.
The chapter? Is it chapter 1 of 3?
It's chapter 1 of 3, but you won't get to hear the other 2.
That's
Unless
what I mean.
you listen to the podcast.
As one of the biggest rising stars in Bristol, by 2007, my phone contacts was a veritable who's who of the biggest names in the southwest comedy scene. However, 3 key players were missing. One day, I received a call from a promoter by the name of Kai Barron, offering me a gig. Kai was a big deal. If you wanted a gig in Yeovil, Paynton or Exmouth, he held all the cards. You'll need to drive the other comics there and back, he said. Who else is on? I asked. John Richardson, Mark Olver and Russell Howard, he replied. Words failed me. I was to be responsible for driving the 3 kingmakers of Southwest comedy to the very heart of Torquay. Hello? Kai asked. Sorry, Kai, words had briefly failed me. I'll take it, I replied. These guys were the pick of the Southwest crop, from Lyme Regis to Ilfracombe, from Newquay to Peasdown St John. No one could touch them. Mark Olver was a notorious Lothario and fried chicken enthusiast. He'd bedded more women than you've had hot dinners. He'd also had more hot dinners than you've had hot dinners. John Richardson had a lightning wit and was a fan of neatness, hard work, and more neatness. He was from the north, but I liked him nonetheless. Russell Howard was hot property. I think you'll get the picture when I tell you that by 2005, the start of my comedy career, he had already gigged in Plymouth. That's right, he was box office. I met them at an Esso garage. Though central, it was one of the most competitively priced Essos in Bristol. As I pulled up in my Deo Lanos, purchased only weeks before, Olver shouted, "Bloomin' hell, we're gigging with a sales rep." I thanked him for
Could I just say, that is a really accurate impression of Mark Olver.
I thanked him for spotting that the Lanos would indeed suit a travelling executive and began to reel off some of its key specifications. Some days later, I realised he was making a joke at my, and by extension, the Lanos' expense. It is a slight I have never forgiven him for. The drive was textbook. M5, A380, then A3022, and on the way back, the reverse. That and my commanding performance at the gig secured me not only their trust, but an offer that would forever change the course of my fledgling career.
I think we can do another one, can't we?
Yeah, let's
have another one. Can we go again?
You got time for another one? Well, we have to do the next one, don't we? Okay. The House That Joke Built, Part 2. The drive back from Torquay was memorable. Let me remind you that my Belanost cargo was precious booty indeed. Russell Howard, Mark Olver, and John Richardson, 3 men who had every Southwest promoter in their pockets. How they toyed with them, manoeuvring and preparing themselves for combat on every stage south of Malmesbury. The subject of accommodation came up. Olver was still living with his parents, frustrated by the restrictions this placed on him from hosting some, but not all, of the local swingers' nights he was obliged to put on. Russell was living between Rockhampton and London, the 2 epicentres of comedy in the UK. and John Richardson was tucked up in the tidiest bedsit I or Avon and Somerset Social Services had ever seen. They suggested getting a place for the three to share. I'd be up for that, I exclaimed, slightly louder than I'd planned. Russell hesitated, clearly blindsided by the prospect of adding one of Bristol's leading lights to the tenancy. How about the three of us look at some places and let you know? Oliver added. I didn't do it in his voice. How about the three of us? Give me a cheer. How about the three of us look at some places and let you know? Oliver added. He was right. They would not want to risk losing me and would want to make sure I was suitably impressed by the options. A few weeks passed. I heard nothing. It was crucial I appear keen, but not too keen, so I called each of them 20 or 30 times. After 2 more weeks, several unanswered calls, and a further 4 preferred candidates dropping out, I took the 4th bedroom at top floor flat 9 the Paragon. It was the perfect mix. 3 professional comedians and 1 amateur who supplemented his income with temp work. They would talk long into the night about influential players in the comedy world, some of who were from London. I soaked it up in awe of these 3 colossi of stand-up comedy. It was quite the coup for me professionally. There was a drip-down effect, gig-wise. If Russell was offered a gig he couldn't make, he would pass it on to Oliver, then Oliver to John, John to a friend of his in Frome called Mike, Mike to various Bath-based new acts, and if they and several Cardiff comics couldn't make it, I would be left reaping the rewards of unpaid 10-minute spots as far north as Gloucester. Nothing could go wrong. Or so I thought.
John Robin!
Thank you.
Nish Kumar's feature on the show was Nishipedia.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah. Some people are laughing at Nishipedia.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't laughed at it. Nishipedia, which was you're obsessed with conspiracy theories?
Love a conspiracy theory.
You're not a believer in conspiracy theories?
Not a believer.
But you do like to research them.
I do, although the fact that Acaster has immediately left leads me to believe he is involved in one. James Acaster is a dirty Illuminati. You heard it here first, folks.
Matt Crosby has the best conspiracy theory about 9/11 I've ever heard that made me laugh for a day.
There never were any Twin Towers in the first place.
If James Acaster was involved in conspiracy theory, it certainly wouldn't be with the Fosters panel, would it? Now,
Or maybe it would. He's been nominated 3 times. Some of us wouldn't mind that! 7 years!
You've still got your gigs in Frome, though.
Nish, what conspiracy theory have you researched for us this week?
Well, I've got an absolute doozy. First of all, good evening, or is it? Which is my catchphrase from the show. And that was for 5 people. So, this week's
Crosby's just spilled a load of beer down himself.
Crosby's just... Matt Crosby has no mouth. That is the conspiracy theory tonight.
I literally missed my mouth. I was enjoying the lack of response for Nish's.
I'm going to persist with it every night. And if anything, I'm going to do it louder, OK? So, you set up...
Well, let's do call and response. You do good evening, they'll do or is it?
Good
Nish
evening.
Kumar. Nish Kumar, hello.
Good evening. Or is it? Yes! I don't even have one. I just wanted to hear that. So, here's the conspiracy theory. The Ice Bucket Challenge is a satanic baptism ritual. This is an absolute ding-dong doozy of one, Joshua.
That is a great one.
It is absolutely one of my favourites. There is a group of Christians in America who believe that the Ice Bucket Challenge, which was the practice of throwing cold water over yourself in order to raise money, although I was never clear whether it was because you were supposed to either donate money or throw
It was
water
to
on
raise
yourself.
awareness, wasn't it?
It was to raise awareness, that's right. Yeah. Because the challenge was otherwise you had to donate money. So it's essentially a bunch of videos of people copping out of giving money to sick people, which is some quality observational stand-up from 2013. So, there's a group of Christians in America who believe that this is evidence of a grand satanic plot and that all of the celebrities involved are actually emissaries of the devil himself. Now, they're evidence for... Yeah?
Do not bring to my attention the fact that Krista Berg may be a Satanist. His Ice Bucket Challenge...
What colour was the lady dressed in, John? The colour of the beast! This is the evidence. Lady Gaga dressed in black and instead of a bucket, used a silver bowl. I'll tell you, it doesn't get more
Literally
evil
the
than
most
that.
dressed down she's ever been.
Yeah. Bill Gates also built a rig that was apparently evocative of the Temple of Solomon, which is has absolutely nothing to do with the devil. Justin Timberlake wore a symbol bearing an Illuminati sign, which later turned out to be a T-shirt that had the cover of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon on it. And my favourite one is Oprah Winfrey, who, and this is one of their key pieces of evidence, shouted, "In the name of ALS," an acronym which, according to a woman who filmed a YouTube video, stood for Antichrist, Lucifer, Satan. Which, just in case you don't know, is his full name. He's not just called, like, Joe Devil or some shit. And the background to this...
What did she actually mean, ALS?
It was what it was for.
Yeah. I mean, it really raised a lot of awareness, guys. It really raised a tremendous amount of awareness of the disease.
It really raised a lot of awareness about Antichrist, Lucifer, Satan. The background to this is that ALS research involves the use of stem cells which require aborted fetuses, which, according to these people, are virgin sacrifices made to honour the father of lies. So...
Any more from Jim Davidson?
So basically, it's a group of people that don't like the idea of, have a problem with abortion. And so they've dressed this up by claiming that Oprah Winfrey is working for the Antichrist, Lucifer, Satan. That's the conspiracy theory. It's one of my absolute all-time favourites.
It is an absolute...
It is so crazy.
So how did you find that?
Just dense research. Just dense research.
Dense research on... Cracked.com. And your last Google search was funny conspiracy theories.
A Google search which was made at 10:35 this evening.
I've been doing my feet. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, to bring us to the end, we have to... James Acaster will end with a classic scrape, but before that... Ivo Graham... not just drowning in cards, but each week you play a game.
Yep. And Nish says he may have finished his about 15 minutes before the show. I've literally just finished mine.
So each week, Ivo Graham, we got a listener sent in a game called Wiki Races, which is going to take the nation by storm, in which you come up with 2 Wikipedia pages and you have to see who can get from one to the other in as fewer links as possible. And it is absolute dynamite.
It's a good game.
So
and yet I haven't been texting for the last hour.
Last night you took on an audience member going from Lady Sovereign to Matthew Crosby. And you
One move. We're married. We're married. We should say we are married.
Tonight you face Ed Gamble, our guest. You've both done it already.
Yep.
Just.
Who can do the fewest moves to go from Matthew Crosby to Carlos the Jackal?
One move, we're married.
Nish Kumar would like to come up with a pass score.
I reckon for this, you're talking... Crosby, as far as I know, has not assassinated anyone.
As far as
I reckon you could do it in 8.
No.
No. And I think I'd go via the Black Grape album cover that featured Carlos the Jackal.
What? Oh,
Yes, see, I thought that after I'd spent my entire 3 hours trying to get to Carlos the Jackal.
So, Ivo, would you like to lead, or would you like to play or pass, as Henry Kelly would say?
I'll play.
Okay.
Now, I must stress at the beginning, I didn't know who Carlos the Jackal was, which is always an obstacle in this game.
Oh, just
Did they
some
not
rules?
teach it in Latin?
Could I just say some rules for the audience? You're not allowed to go back or do any research on any of the subjects.
No, and I didn't, as I'm about to make abundantly clear. So really...
Tell you what's exciting, though. Finn Taylor's typing. Oh, there it is.
Nope, I'll just put that way, sorry.
He had his messages open.
Well, I've been playing Wiki Races for the last half an hour on my phone.
Come on, Ivo.
Sorry. I'll put it on airplane mode now. Sorry, James. His lampoons know no mercy.
Eric Lampoon.
Please, no. Right, so Matthew Crosby. So basically, I don't know who Carlos the Jackal is. Just out of battery. There you go. Your wish is granted, my friend. Finn Taylor will have to...
Have we lost your answers?
No, I've copied them all down,
Okay,
luckily.
read them out.
But Finn Taylor will
Come
not
on.
find out where I put the key outside the flat.
I once lived with Tom Crane.
Oh, this is awful.
He left his key at home and told.
This is in Edinburgh.
In Edinburgh, and told Ellis and his girlfriend Izzy to not put their phone on silent because he needed to call them to get back to the flat. He ended up sleeping in the doorway for 6 hours. And in that same Edinburgh, ate a pizza from Domino's that had the imprint of a Nike trainer in the crust.
Anyway.
So, I don't know who Carlos the Jackal is. I still don't know, and now never will. So I want...
so can we have... Tom, could you tally up the score as he goes?
I've tallied my own score.
No, let Tom tally the score. I don't
I mean, it will become abundantly clear that I'm not trying to cheat when I read out what I've done.
In fairness, the phrase tally your own score does sound like one of your zingers from Eton.
You can tally your own score, good sir.
I do bite my thumb at you.
Bite in your thumb all the time.
Okay, here we go.
I know what play that's from.
Which play is it from?
It's from Julius Caesar.
I thought it was some dude, where's my car?
You'll be amazed to know I've never seen it, but I've heard it's about illegal drugs. Right.
As is Midsummer Night's Dream.
And that's not one of my favourite ones. I don't know who Carlos the Jackal is.
Right, let's go.
Yeah, you're not bulletproof just because you call yourself Brown Jesus. I take the flak. So,
some people just cheered when I made the symbol like I was Jesus. So am I him or am I not him? Who knows?
You say some people when you mean a person.
That's how it starts, baby.
Come on, Ivo.
I needed to get to list of Carloses or list of Jackals. Those were my only options. I thought Brazilian football Roberto Carlos. I set off, my backpack on my back. Sorry, it sounds like something you'd say about selfies. My backpack on. So, Matthew Crosby, BBC, which you've featured on. Great Britain, just lovely patriotic choice. Sovereign state, list of sovereign states. Brazil, list of Brazilians. Guttingly, Roberto Carlos hasn't made it onto the list of Brazilians. Absolutely fine. Went for Ronaldo instead. Thought I'll just weave my way a couple of extra moves through the 1998 France World Cup, 1998 France World Cup final. Roberto Carlos started the final. Guttingly, no list of Carloses, no link to just the individual word Carlos, nothing. Roberto Carlos is a dead end. Backwards we go. Backpack still on. Final of 1988 World Cup, 1998 France World Cup. Ronaldo. List of Brazilians. While reversing through list of Brazilians, notice that Roberto Carlos is actually on it. So, bit of a shame. Under C for Carlos, not R for Roberto. Never mind. Step 16, we're back at Brazil. I probably could have tried to find another way, but as I said, the show had started by then. I thought, let's get back to Crosby. Brazil, list of sovereign states, Great Britain, BBC, Matthew Crosby. Right. So we're on stage 22/0.
Tom, what's the score?
I make it 23.
I mean, it literally doesn't matter. So, Matthew Crosby. So we've got to find Jackal. Matthew Crosby did play a dog in Animal Antics, but I don't mean any disrespect to you, Matt. Animal Antics does not have its own Wikipedia page. It is a red link. It is dead.
Not any more upcoming series as well. Real shame. Sorry to break that to you, folks.
I love Animal Antics.
So did I.
Quickly describe it, Crosby, because it's my favourite show ever.
How do you describe it?
Can you describe what it was to people who haven't seen it?
It's a show of conspiracy theories about 9/11.
It was me
fucking brilliant.
dressed as a dog, reading the news next to Tim Brooke Taylor of the Goodies, and instead of the news, it was all funny videos of cats jumping into boxes. And it took 3 days to film, and it was a really, really wonderful experience. He's a wonderful man. He told me a lot of great stories that are incredibly libelous about the Monty Python team using prostitutes. It was very much like this. It was a different kind of full Monty.
And it was produced by Carlos the Jackal. I don't know if you spotted that.
Don't do this to me, Ed. I'm miles away. Matthew Crosby has been on Animal Antics, but he's also been on 8 out of 10 Cats. Come on.
Do you know what Wikipedia is?
Yes. How do you get worse at this game every time?
I won last night.
Carry on.
Right.
I'm just enjoying a sort of stroll through memory lane.
Isn't it?
The good old days.
8 out of 10 cats guttingly doesn't have a link to a page about cats. So you have to go whiskers, cat food, cats. And we haven't even got to dogs yet. But
Why is Whiskers not got a link to cats?
No, but also, how has 8 out of 10 cats got a link to the
because
word whiskers?
it says
It's their slogan.
Is it?
It was originally a slogan for Whiskers.
Yeah, that's where it came from. And annoyingly, it says it says the word cat several times in the cat's page, but there's not a link. It's such a capricious website. Whiskers, cat food, cats. And then dogs was on the cat page, and I clicked on it. No, pets, sorry. But it was actually part of a longer phrase, which was abandonment of former household pets. So straight back to cats again. Nothing about dogs anywhere. We were on Crosby's story by this point, so I knew my moment was coming. Went to animal tracking. Went to dog. On the page of dog, golden jackal. And then jackal. And then jackal disambiguation. Carlos the jackal isn't there.
Oh, God.
Ouchie.
But there was the jackal nickname, and then Carlos the jackal.
Tom Neenan.
I make it 38.
38? Ed Gimble, can you beat 38?
I'm not hugely confident, you know. I'll be honest, this is a real tale we're going now. I was incredibly... I immediately knew who Carlos the Jackal was,
Yeah.
but then you'll see approximately halfway through, lost utter confidence that I knew who he was. So here we go. So immediately when I saw Carlos the Jackal, I knew we were doing Carlos the Jackal. I knew Venezuelan, terrorist, something to do with Palestine, and imprisoned in France. That's what I came up with. Fucking incredible, right?
Yeah,
and I'm
good
not
work.
right. Wait till you see how my confidence was shattered halfway through. So Matthew Crosby to the culture show. I thought we'll go straight in. We'll try and get to the news, just the whole news. One party state.
Wait, why did you pick one party state?
Because I'm just trying to get to countries. Because I'm trying to get to Venezuela. That's where I'm trying to go.
Matthew Crosby, BBC, Great Britain, list of sovereign states. That's how you get to countries, mate.
Yeah. Well, I've gone straight from one party state to Paraguay, mate. So, so I'm already in the right ballpark.
Who also took part in the 1988 World Cup. There's so much overlap here.
To South America, to Venezuela. So I'm already in the right ballpark.
Come on, finish it.
Crime in Venezuela. Illegal drug trade in Venezuela. I'm panicking at this point. At this point, I panicked, have I got the right bloke? And then I got mixed up with the man who escaped from that jail in Mexico recently. So now I'm thinking it's El Chapo. That's who I thought it was. Suddenly. So I've gone straight from illegal drug trade in Venezuela to Mexico. So I'm missing it. Law enforcement in Mexico. There we go. We're still in Mexico. That's not that. Oh, God. Right. Crime in Mexico. Then I suddenly realised I was on the wrong track again. I went to violent crime. Violence. So I'm on the whole page for violence now. War on terror, right? So I'm back on. I know who it is again. War on terror, terrorist.
Can we just have an update on the score, Tom?
16.
Still got 22. To
I hadn't even got back to Matthew Crosby.
So I'm still thinking terrorist, and I'm remembering Palestine, right? I've gone to list of designated terror groups. Palestine Liberation Front. Couldn't find him. I panicked clicked on something called Night of the Gliders. Now, I don't know what that is. I'm still panicking. I clicked on hang gliding. So lost at this point. Then I thought France, we'll try and attack it from there. France. Yep. From hang gliding, I clicked on the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale.
Yeah.
Thinking that's got to happen in France.
You're still favourite to finish. Win.
Yeah, I thought that's got to happen in France, hasn't it? Doesn't it? It happens in Lausanne, Switzerland. So I thought I've got to get back to France from Switzerland. What do they have in common? The language. I went to French language. From there to France, then to law of France, then to crime in France. I'm searching for prisons at this
see
point.
What the score is now?
27.
This is like when the Faroe Islands play San Marino, and you think this is going to be shit, but actually now it's getting quite tense.
So I'm searching for prisons. I know he's imprisoned in France, so hopefully I can get to a prison where he's imprisoned. I'm on to Judiciary of France, then the French Ministry of Justice, then to the city of Marseille. Then I think I'll find a prison in Marseille. I found one, the Chateau d'If. Then to Alcatraz. I'm off continent now.
What number are we on?
33.
Prisons. Prisons in France. Le Santé, I thought it's the only prison in Paris. He's a big prisoner. He might be in there. Notable prisoners in Le Santé. Carlos the Jackal.
What was the final score?
37.
37!
That's recount territory.
What a match!
Good
In
lord.
a weird way, that is the greatest match of Wiki Races ever.
And also the worst, surely. That was...
Carlos the Jackal, and next we'll go tomorrow night back to Matthew Crosby. No, we'll come up with something for Carlos the Jackal to go to tomorrow night, Ivo, and you will...
What a website. I hope you paused to donate en route.
I did.
Oh, that's another step, Tom. Add that one.
That page isn't within Wikipedia.
We always end the show with James Acaster talking about one of his classic scrapes he's got into.
Hello. When I was 23, I got a singing teacher.
Prove it.
There it is, James Acaster, ladies and gentlemen.
I wanted to be a good singer. I was in a band with my friend Graham.
What was the name of that band?
The Wow Scenario. It was only the two of us, and
Can you describe the genre of music that the Wow Scenario operated with?
Experimental jazz pop. And
were you good?
Well, we
I refer you to the previous answer.
We loved it, mate. It was just me and Graham, and no one else would join the band, so we had to learn how to sing in order for there to be singers. So we both got singing teachers. It was the same singing teacher. Her name was Cecilia. I've spoken about her on the podcast before. I once took a shit in her house when she wasn't there.
Is that not this scrape?
No, it's not.
You had two scrapes with Cecilia.
Yeah, I've had different scrapes with Cecilia.
Can you
This one
just very
involves her.
briefly run through the shit in her house one?
She gave me a key for house sitting for her, and one day when she wasn't in, I needed a shit, so I went in her house.
I'll tell you who's not having a shit in the house right now. Finn Taylor.
You can tell him, don't shit on your own doorstep. apparently he's had to.
I shit in a downstairs toilet and then realised there wasn't any toilet roll, so I walked to the upstairs toilet with no trousers or pants on.
Commonly now known as an Acaster.
Yep. And the stairs were in front of the door, and
Did you have
no one came home. But
Did you have shoes on?
I know. I ditched
I was gonna say,
everything.
that's very hard to do.
I ditched everything on the lower half except for my socks, and waddled upstairs, filthy.
Also, for fact fans in the room, that is the clothing configuration Matthew Crosby sleeps in.
That is.
Shirt, no trousers or pants.
Not a shirt. T-shirts.
Oh, you're right. That would be mental.
Yeah.
Does anyone else sleep in just a small T-shirt?
Last orders, guys.
Yeah.
Is that Ivo? Charge his goddamn phone.
That has taken a lot of heat off of me.
If the hotel,
Ivo has just turned the lights on in the venue.
Eton shall flourish.
You absolute fucking moron. Ivo, what have you done?
The official slogan of Eton is "Let Eton flourish," and I think, as we can all see, it clearly is.
Yeah.
How did you do that, Ivo?
Clearly trying to charge his phone.
Stop it,
Ivo. Ivo, I've got a battery pack. You can use the battery pack, all right? Just don't fuck around with the lights.
Ivo, where's your servant? Where's your Batman? He can sort this out.
Lazy.
What's
Okay.
lazy?
Okay.
Not fucking learning how lights work.
Okay, James. There we go. The lights are back down. James.
Imagine if we've stopped recording and the podcast cuts out here, and the last thing you just hear is, "Oh."
Can't wait to see Ivo try and work out how to use this power pack. Oh, he's done it.
Okay, so here we go.
If the technician had a sense of humour, I would absolutely love it if you just turned all the lights on. As soon as you turned that phone back on.
Right, come on, James.
had a singing teacher. It didn't go very well. Still can't sing. But while I was having the singing lessons, because she knows a drummer, she asked me if I wanted to join a band with her. She was a 55-year-old Italian woman. And
how old were you?
I was 21 at the time, and she was forming a band with a didgeridoo player that she knew. So it was her on flute, she was grade 8 flute, a didgeridoo player, and me on the congas.
Just to be clear, James, you were already in an experimental jazz pop band. So all I would say is people in glass houses, ...
And,
Shouldn't play congas.
She, I didn't have a car at that point. Well, I didn't. I'd already written off 2 cars at that point, so I wasn't driving. And she sent the didgeridoo player to pick me up. I never met him before, and he was, I'd say, 40. And he first of all he turned up an hour early, which is unheard of. I don't think anyone ever does that.
Didgeridoo.
I also love the fact that you said yes. That's the bit I can't quite get over. She was like, do you want to be in a band? I'll play the flute. And there's another bloke who plays the didgeridoo. Do you want to be in this band? You play congas. And you went, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when she said that, I was like, I definitely want to see what happens. There's no way I don't. So, like, I said yes anyway. He turned up. I just got home. I was working at a kitchen at the time. I just got home. I was stinging of chips and in my chef's uniform. I wasn't a chef. And he knocked on the door. I said, oh, sorry, I wasn't expecting you now. And he said, oh, it's okay. I'll wait in my car while you have a shower. So he was literally on the drive, waiting in his van. Had a shower, got my congas, got in his car. And as we haven't even left my street, and he said to me, he went, do you like conspiracy theories?
Or does he?
And I went, not really. And he went, 9/11 was an inside job. I went, I don't really... I'm not really into that stuff. It's like, yeah, well, you would be if you were me, mate. I lived in Jerusalem for a year, eating out of bins. So this is my new bandmate. And I was like, and the whole journey there, he kept telling me about conspiracy theories that he believes in, and he also told me about a sitcom idea that he had, and the idea for a sitcom was because he's a lorry driver. So it's about a lorry driver just driving around, getting people in headlocks, and it's played by Grant Mitchell.
And you can see that sitcom in September, courtesy of James Acaster.
I have stolen it. It's
Neenan, if you're not drawing that right now, then there is no God.
So we get to Cecilia's house. We all set up, ready for band practice. Start playing. It's fine. It's kind of.
Do you have any songs, or do you just start?
It was a jam. The idea behind it was that it was a jam band, so you didn't know what was going on. So someone would count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'd all just go for it.
Well, this guy was rubber with
until someone went, I can't take it anymore. We all stopped. So this guy was doing that for a while, and Cecilia had her next singing student to turn up, who was a lady in her 60s, and she turned up, and Cecilia said, we're just still having a band practice. We started a bit late, so we're going to run over, but you can sit in and listen. And this lady went, oh, well, my son is a record producer, and he would love to hear a new band. So she phoned her... This is our first band practice. Yeah. First band practice. She phones her son up.
And Brian Eno shows up.
Says, I'm here with a new band. And they're about to practice. Would you like to listen to them? And obviously he said yes because he knew him. So she put him on speaker.
This is like that scene in Back to the Future.
So he's on speaker. And we play a jam. Yeah, it lasts about 20 minutes. And then at the end of the jam... the didgeridoo player says to me, mate, you need to slow down. You're playing too fast. You're too busy on the congas.
There's only 2. Like, how busy can you be?
It's way too busy.
But also, how didgeridoo doesn't go at speed, does it?
No, so he was just doing... Slow down. Listen to my tempo and you'll know what you're doing.
But you and him strictly the rhythm section.
Yeah. Didn't know he was setting the metronome, but... so he says, you slow down, too busy. So, and then Cecilia, the flautist, singing teacher, says, what you're doing is fine, James, don't worry about it. And he says, well, I want to play another... Let's go for it again. So we went for it again, did another jam. At the end of that one, he goes, too slow now. Congas, you're too slow.
Congas?
Busy it up. Busy it up, get busier.
This
And-
feels like an absurdist remake of Whiplash.
And Cecilia went, "You're fine. What you're doing was fine. It's fine." And he went, "No, right. I appreciate your opinion, but I'm saying he's too slow now. So we should do it again. And you should try and play a little bit faster if he can. Play again. Speed it up a bit. At the end, he goes, right. Now you're too busy again. Slow it down." She goes, "Seriously, don't listen to him." And then he gets his didgeridoo above his head, throws it on the ground, which, by the way, made a better sound than when he was playing it. Probably a badoing sound. It was really nice. He looked at her and he went, "What the fuck is your problem?" Really loud. He went up to her and he went, "You've been against me from the start with this band." This is day one, which was day one, by the way. Been trying to overthrow me. You're trying to suffocate my creativity. I've got the ideas. You haven't got the ideas. I'm trying to tell him you won't listen to me. This is fucking bullshit. You're a prick. I'm leaving. I quit. And then he quit. And then he walked out. And then he came back in and went to me, "Do you still want to lift home?" I went, "Not really." And he went, "Fine." He walked out. And then we had in silence. And then from the phone was just, "Mum?" We're a two-piece now, mate, if you still want us. I mean, congas and flute.
If you ever choose to do like anecdotal stand-up, can I just say that is first in my list of requests?
Yeah, I can get in contact with them all. You can join the band, Robin.
I love the fact that there might be sort of a documentary about a really famous band that begins with their early days, where someone throws a didgeridoo on them, and they're like the sixth member of the band. Yeah. Like, if only I checked my didgeridoo.
And that didgeridoo player was Bono.
Did you go home with him?
No. I told him
you had to do a shit.
I said we got to do a shit in our house. I said to him, "I've got a friend picking me up," which wasn't true.
Yeah.
And he went. And then my singing teacher said to me, "When's your friend getting here?" I said, They're not. She went, What do you mean?" And I went, "Well, I don't want to go home with him because he's a really angry, weird man. I don't know him." So I made up a lie. And she went, "That is very clever."
James Acaster, ladies and gentlemen. That more or less brings us to the end of the show, but we'd like to end the show with Tom Neenan recapping the show in the form of cartoons. So please, can we have a round of applause for Mr. Tom Neenan?
So graceful. Ow. You're right. Sorry, mate.
Okay, here we go.
Right. Will this stand up? Let's see. Do I have a mic? I can project. Oh, thank you. Hi, guys. Okay, the quality. Can everyone see? No, no one at all. Okay.
Bit more.
There.
To me.
There?
Tom, can you just release my wire?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You are released.
Put the back tripod betwixt the tables.
And no slacking.
Neil, could you edit this bit out in the morning?
Yeah. This is not gold.
Actually, leave this in, because see if people keep carry on.
Okay.
But put your cock back in.
How about you move? I'm not gonna. Okay, the quality of these drawings will increase because I don't want to get technical. This easel is fucked. So, starts with the title page, which I've put wallpaper on the front of, like you used to do with your old French exercise books. We're all on board. Good. So yeah, this isn't good at all. James Bond and the subpart 49-minute sketch show. This is based on Nish's anecdotes about us seeing Sean Connery, and The Quantum of Talent is the name of that. Not
I like the
good at all.
fact that you've coloured in my face on the right. Just
Yeah.
to be clear.
What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? As a white man tentative about racial stereotypes. What is wrong with that?
No, I said I liked it.
I'm more worried about the fact that Nish has rickets.
That was one of our classic sketches, actually. Nish had rickets in all of the sketches.
It was,
And he's
it was
eating
chocolate rickets.
He's also eating a curry and bowling a spin ball.
It really was a great show.
Right. So we start with Jim Davidson's autobiography. He chose the full Monty. I wondered what would happen if Jim Davidson had gone for another one of the 90s British film classics. 4 Weddings and No Funerals, asterisk, at least none that can be directly traced back to Jim. Not stand up in a court of law. Right, I found that story really upsetting. The story he told. So what I spent the rest of my time doing while you were reading that out was hypothesizing the autobiographies of other people who presented Big Break and what chapters may have occurred in their autobiographies. And that led me to just imagine an autobiography of John Virgo that has a lovely chapter about him trying to shuck an oyster. So that's... might be a nicer story.
Can I just say, Virgo is doing well in the trouser department, isn't he? Jeepers creepers. He's certainly not a Virgo.
That's the power of the oyster.
Tom, would you say there's anything to the accusation that you can't do hands?
Oh.
Runner up. Runner up.
What he lacks in hands, he makes up for in dicks.
That was a review of your show, Nish, wasn't it?
It was Jim Davidson's review of that lady.
I'm going to see what... Oh, yeah. So the next one came from the story that the guy told about he said it was just a random nativity play.
Yep.
So I drew what I believe to be a random nativity play, which is a nativity play where Mary and Joseph are played by Peter Andre and a yucca plant. Also in attendance are one of the who sang
Proclaimers.
The Proclaimers and KFC Chicken Zinger Bucket.
I'll be honest with you, the Proclaimers looks alarmingly like a self-portrait, Neenan.
It's my dream. That's a random nativity play. Moving on. Oh yeah, that's just what happened in that story, which is that a policeman got stuck on some railings, filmed by there, and there's Burke getting his moment in the limelight, and there's the Queen waiting to troop the colour, saying, "Get a wriggle on." So.
And you still did all of the windows.
Yes.
What he lacks in hands, he makes up for in windows.
What's this? Oh yeah, okay. So this is Gordon Brown spilling Coke on himself, but I don't know if you've noticed, on the Coke it says the economy. And he's dropped some fries that say fiscal responsibility. So that is...
You need to sign that one at the bottom.
Yeah. Signed by Steve Bell. So then, oh yeah, this is a sofa with a lovely cat, lovely warm fire. It's probably about 5 in the evening, and it says "Home Sweet Home." And that's how I felt hearing that Fireman Sam story.
Ah.
Sure.
Fireman Sam needs to put that out soon.
What's this? Oh, yeah. So this is Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, trying to tie in 2 things here, but 3 things that point out this might be satanic. 1, you see the water has made little horns there. 2, he's cloven-hoofed. And 3, part of the satanic ritual, he's holding a flame supplied by a 12-year-old boy.
God, you're good.
So that's that. What have we got now? Oh, that was the tally chart. Halfway through, I stopped to draw Matthew Crosby stabbing a Goodies DVD. That's just a metaphor. And what have we got here? That's for Ivo.
It's not a fucking light switch.
Oh, Ivo, please don't touch anything else.
Leave the electrics alone!
In the dark, it looks exactly like a plug socket. It's got nothing to do with my education. If I had battery on my phone, I'd use the torch function, but I couldn't.
Could you just explain
You're all
for the
very
listeners
mean.
of the podcast?
Oh yeah, it's a so it's just an on-off switch of a light there. He's clearly never seen one before. What have we got next?
He just blows out the candle.
Okay, yeah. This is the point at which I realised I was sort of a whimsical artist about to draw a didgeridoo, and I remember what happened to the last man who did that. Let's grab that out.
He's here tonight under his alias Matthew Crosby.
And finally, here's just the promo for the sitcom that will never be. Headlock Harry and the Weak-Neck Truckers, starring Grant Mitchell and Nicholas Lyndhurst. And that was the show. Thank you very much.
Tom Neenan! It only remains to give those drawings to who's the best audience. It's got to be the Fireman Sam.
It's got to be Fireman Sam.
It's got to be Fireman Sam, yeah.
So a round of applause for our winners, the Fireman Sam people. If you want them, just come down and tear off which ones you want. But can we have a round of applause? For thank you to everyone who contributed to the show. Can we have a round of applause for everyone that spoke to us tonight? And can we have a round of applause for our brilliant comedians, Tom Neenan, Nish Kumar, Matthew Crosby, Nathaniel Metcalfe, producer Neil, Ed Gimble, Ivo Graham, James Acaster, John Robbins. Thank you very much. Cheers. Good night.